Hello everybody, so this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make timers. An example would be in my auction house, or sorry, not auction house, dungeon simulator house. I have an auction house. As you can see, 6 just went down to 5, but there is a timer, so 5 minutes and 55 seconds. This will go down. Holograms update every about like 2 seconds, so that's why it's not going down perfectly. And when the seconds reach down to 0, minutes will go down 1. Once it reaches the end, a broadcast will go in the chat saying that the auction house is opened, and the timer will reset. If you saw the last tutorial, you know that I would like to do some more things in Housing Editor. It's easier to explain to you guys, and it's easier to show kind of what's going on. So yes, this will be done in Housing Editor. Now, you don't need Housing Editor, obviously. If you would like it, I have a video on how you can install and use it. It'll either be in the little info card or in the description. And if for some reason I forget, just check the channel. Before we hop on Housing Editor, go to your housing menu, house settings, and functions, and make sure you have a playtime function. Now I do have a tutorial on playtime, so I would just follow that. It'll be in the info card or the description, or just check the channel if I forget. If you set it up correctly, then you should have a working player playtime and global playtime set up. And now what we can do is go to our housing menu, go to house settings, and go to functions. We're going to create a new function. I just called it tutorial timer, but you could call this whatever you want. This will be our function that handles our timer. Now go into your playtime function and find the conditional where we check if we should be increasing the global playtime by 1 second. So I think it might be in this 5th one here. My playtime is set up a little bit differently than the playtime tutorial that I made. But anyways, if we go in this conditional here, I think we should... No, that's not it. I think it's this one here. Yeah, so we have a couple other things, just ignore these. But this, we increase seconds by... But this is the conditional where we increase our seconds. It's set up a little bit differently. Just ignore it. We're going to add an action and trigger our function, and we're going to find tutorial timer. I'm sure this is obvious, but I forgot to mention you do need a poison loop set up. Okay, so let's hop on Housing Editor. Now this is what will be inside our tutorial timer function. Basically, we're going to take our timer seconds and subtract 1. Now you can call this whatever you want. I'm calling timer seconds, timer minutes, and timer hours. Obviously, you could probably change this, so maybe if you're making an auction house seconds, auction house minutes, and auction house hours, or some other event, whatever. Anyways, okay, so first we're going to have a conditional. We're going to check if our timer hours, timer minutes, and timer seconds is either less than or equal to 0. This would mean that our timer is up, and we should now restart it and trigger a broadcast. So we're restarting it, so that's exactly what we're doing. We're restarting it. I just had it reset as in timer hours is set to 1, timer minutes is set to 23, and timer seconds are set to 50. And I have it trigger a function broadcast, which we did forget to create, but we trigger this for all players, meaning that all players will see this and we can have a message sent out to them. In our second conditional, we check if timer hours is greater than or equal to 1, and timer minutes is less than or equal to 0. This will mean that we still have hours that we need to subtract, but our minutes is 0 or less, meaning that we have to subtract 1 from hours and set our minutes to 59. In our final conditional, we have timer minutes greater than or equal to 1 and timer seconds less than or equal to 0. Same thing as this one above, however, it is different as in instead of hours and minutes, we have minutes and seconds. So if our seconds is less than or equal to 0 and our timer in our minutes is greater than or equal to 1, then we'll subtract 1 for our minutes and set our timer seconds to 59. I'm going to be putting this action in the description, assuming if I remember. Now you can just import this the housing editor way, or you can just import it manually, it's up to you. We're going to go to our housing menu, house settings, functions, tutorial timer, and paste the ID in here and click import. So I'm just going to quickly make a broadcast function just because it skipped over it while I was making the thing. We'll just have it send a message, timer ended, and then we can go back to our tutorial timer. I think it's in the first conditional here. Yep, our trigger function, set this to broadcast, and we're just going to trigger this for all players. Okay, so now with the timer, we have the variables already set up as 0. If you don't know, this is using placeholders. So if we do /placeholders, we can see a full list of placeholders. We have stat.player/key, stat.global/key. So in here, I'm doing stat.global/timer hours, and another one for minutes, and another one for seconds. Okay, so as soon as we go in survival, it'll reset the timer and should say the message in chat. So there we go, timer ended, and as you can see, the hologram does take a second to update, but it is going down. And it did restart. Using some fancy commands, I'm going to edit global stat, timer seconds, set 5. Oops. Timer seconds, set 5. So now when this 5 goes to 0, it should decrease 1 from our minutes and reset this to 59. Perfect. So now we can do the same thing, but for minutes. So minutes set 0, and then just so the second speed up, we'll set that to 5. Okay, so I do a little mess up that I didn't realize when I was setting this up for the video, but that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes you guys will run into issues while making houses. I know some people do get a little upset. They think, like top creators don't run into these issues. But I can assure you, I run into issues like this all the time. But basically what happened here was we don't check our seconds. So let's check that timer seconds is also less than or equal to 0. Otherwise, it'll subtract 1 from hours, which we don't want. And with this, we'll also set timer seconds to 59. So once you updated the code, we should now see that if we set timer hours, set 1, timer minutes, set 0, and timer seconds, set 5, just so we can have a little bit of time to see it happen. As you can see, hours should go down to 0, and minutes should go to 59, as well as seconds. There we go. So reset, and that's exactly what we wanted. That's been the end of this tutorial. If you guys have any questions, please do ask in the comments. However, you most likely get a faster response if it's in the Discord, which there'll also be a link in the description too. But yeah, that's it. Join my Discord if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial or the stream or whatever I decide to do.